Hi, it's Mike from Realistic Sustainability. I'm supposed to be making a video. That's what my wife wanted me to do. But I figured I'm going to do it the way I'm comfortable and used to doing it. So here you go, a slideshow. This weekend, my wife and I decided to leave town. It was our first anniversary. Can you imagine being married during quarantine and having stuck with me the whole time? It's no secret. She endures a lot. For an example, I have vegetables growing in the basement. We have potted plants eating up all the best real estate around the windows. She'll never get photos of the kids there. We're bricking plastics. She'll never find single-use items, and that's really hard when you've never really had to practice without them, especially when hosting, and so much more. So when it was coming down to our first anniversary, it was time to do a little bit of moving around. It's hard when you're in the COVID world to travel, but we could do it limited. So we decided to drive on out to Grand Rapids, which is just a few hours away, but it's not home. A lot of our friends had told us that it was going to be a rough place to stay. A lot of the family members who are cycling nonstop news made it sound like a demilitarized zone. But I'll be honest, I learned a little bit about Grand Rapids this weekend. It's nice. It seems as if the whole city is attempting to become sustainable, little by little. That made it a lot of fun for me. Everything I looked at, I got to examine. So in past episodes, we talked about when everybody votes with their money, they can make a change. If all of us quit buying something, that company either has to quit selling it or simply change it so that it fits the criteria of what the buyer wants. It seems as if businesses that are in Grand Rapids are starting to do that. And I think it's important because change is gradual and it's not always noticeable. So that's why Jamie wanted me to make a video. I was just being too shy, didn't like the videos I did make. So that's how you got this. Anyways, during the vacation, we stayed at a True by Hilton, which is, to me, I thought just another Hilton hotel. I get points from work and that tends to be where we usually stay. But when we got there, it was obviously a little bit different. It was smaller, more efficient. And you notice it at first, but that's really all you notice. And as you unpack, you notice there isn't a closet. There isn't a place to put your bag. And it takes you a minute because what we did see was a redesigned room. I didn't notice it at first, but the more I started to look, the more I realized this is about a third of the size of a normal room. It didn't have carpet so that it could be cleaned easier. It was very minimalistic. The desk was built into the wall. It wasn't this big heavy piece of wood. The bed had spots carved out for bags to hide underneath. And that lack of closet, it was just a piece of metal pipe in an unused space that could be used as a closet. The more I started to look at the room, the more I started to realize this was all on purpose. They're using less material. They're choosing to be a little more sustainable. They're closing the space in, not wasting it. Everything was used. Even open spots on the wall had hooks for your coats. And it didn't stop there. I went into the bathroom. There was no more piles of itty-bitty bottles everywhere. I gotta tell you, for a guy who used to travel for work a lot, those itty-bitty bottles, they don't do a lot. You empty them out on one shot, and sometimes you gotta empty 3 of them for one shower. Well, this just had refillable containers hanging on the wall. Gravity fed, so you don't waste anything, and no more bottles. Those are reusable. There wasn't an overabundance of toilet papers and napkins. They were there. There was enough there, but not too much. There was LED lighting, and they even thought about where to put the kinds of lighting in different spots. There were some yellow light LED lighting so that when my wife and I were just trying to lay there and relax, we could use that kind of light. But when she wants to do makeup, well, white light was best. That was selectively placed in different areas, so we could have comfortable lighting no matter what we chose. There was even trash cans with no trash bags. They had these plastic washable inserts in them. One for recycle, one for garbage. That was kind of cool too. And then last, when Jameson went to get some ice, there was also a sign that says, yes, we supply you with cups, but you can also get reusable cups at the front desk. Now, granted, they were selling them, but remember, that's just a reminder for those of us who usually carry them around. Don't use the paper cup. Use the one you brought. It's nice to see that stuff when it's posted up. It was an interesting stay. Now, interesting for me, hopefully interesting for Jamie. Now, there were some issues with the stay. If it was just me, it probably would have been fine. But They purposely put less pillows on the bed, so they have to do less work. There's less blankets, so they wash less sheets. And there was a few less towels than we would have liked, so we did have to ask for some more of each of those. But I think it's better that we had to ask than to just automatically have too much. Now, granted, they do this because they save. They save on washing those sheets, cleaning those pillows. They save on not buying a boatload of tiny little bottles of shampoo. They save money all around the board. The room is half the size, if not a third of the size of a normal room, which means they can get a lot more rooms in there. Or build the building a bit smaller, which it seemed as this one was. But it doesn't really matter. After listening to the greenwashing episode, we talked about doing the right thing for the wrong reasons still results in the right things. And the example was the Hilton originally. And here they are again. Because Grand Rapids is starting to make that change, because almost every place we went, we saw something that had to do with sustainability, Hilton has joined in too. They built a whole chain with that concept in mind. And when I travel and I bring up my Hilton rewards, I'm going to start with the True at Hilton first, because I think I'd rather stay in those rooms if I have to choose. I hope you enjoyed hearing this. This is just an opportunity to point out the good that is happening when we focus on it. Thank you all for working to be more sustainable. Thank you all for being the influence that takes these large corporations and kind of forces them to do the right thing. I appreciate it. It made my anniversary a little bit more fun. Just kidding, hun. It was fun with you already. Love ya. And for the rest of you, I'll talk to you later.